Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Kanji Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Herman Manyora. I'm here with my resident guest, Wakili Willie Sotin. Wakili, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm quite okay as well.
Yes.
Let's have it. The dailies are reporting of a lying president. That is what they are saying. But then the president is saying, look, we are doing all we can to make sure that the country is on the right trajectory. I wonder what you actually make of all these things. Is it that the president is just lying, or maybe there is something that the president knows about how to make things better for this country that we probably do not understand?
You know, the simple thing about when you call somebody a liar, lying is you've said something, you made a misrepresentation, you've said something that is factually inaccurate. How many things has William Ruto said that have turned out to be inaccurate? How many promises has he made to the people of Kenya that didn't turn around? He told us here in February 2023 that the price of cooking gas will come down to 300. What happened? That is just one. He said he was going to empower hustlers. What happened? He said they will not going to increase taxes. What happened? Now they're even going to increase tax on sugar in the new finance bill. Sugar that is consumed on every breakfast table every morning. So, if somebody says a lie, it's factual. You don't need any interpretation to determine that he's a liar. So when the dailies call him a liar, that is exactly what it's based on. You said this, and you did the opposite. When Gen Zs were demonstrating, he said it's Ford Foundation. Then he said Uhuru Kenyatta. Then he said it's the young people themselves. Are those not lies? Any statement that is not factually accurate, it's a lie. So the person who says it, in English, is called a liar. He's a lying president, based on what he said and the actual state of affairs in the country.
Questions are being asked whether, if that is the case, then can the country really survive on these lies? But of course, the president has said that sometimes it's people who actually misrepresent or rather misunderstand what he says, but then he believes that he's actually doing enough to ensure that the country...
You know, even without looking at whether he's doing enough or not enough, the simple question is, he stands on top of a vehicle, rooftop, and he speaks these things. We're in the modern age. There's technology. We have smartphones. And you find people are recording him. Some of those events are live streamed by himself. His own people are live streaming those things. And Kenyans are listening to him talk. It is not even that a third party is telling you that he said this. You are witnessing it live. When he stood up and said the price of gas will come down to 300, himself, no one's reported it. He was captured live. So where's the misreporting? You know, maybe it's still playing the legacy politics of the days when we didn't have the internet. That you could say, and then the next day you are reporting the newspapers. Then you go out tomorrow and say that, no, the newspapers was misquoted. There's no misquoting nowadays. Nowadays, we listen to you directly as you're speaking. In fact, the newspapers report what we already saw. They are not the ones informing us when they report it. We already saw and we listen to what somebody has said. And whenever he says these things, the opposite happens. Or the opposite is what is on the ground. That is lying.
Okay.
And if it's called a lying president, if the shoe fits, wear it.
So you call him a lying president, but then he says that, look, I'm the only person with the right agenda and I know what I actually want for the people of this country. You are on the other side of the opposition now that you're not within the government. And he says, look, these people do not have any agenda. The only thing that they say left, right and center is Ruto must go. How do you respond to that? You
know, for us when we say Ruto must go, it is premised on only one thing. It's the economy is stupid. And we are saying the way you're handling the economy of the nation, this country is going to collapse. Economically. Already it's in a collapsing state. Because look at the state of joblessness. Look at the pain that our people go through every day. People who are going to sleep without food. Kids who are not reporting to schools because of lack of school fees. Patients who are dying for preventable diseases because the healthcare system is in shambles. Public workers whose pay slips are shrinking by the day. All those are key issues that a prudent administration should have focused on to create an economy that works for the people. This economy is not working for the people of Kenya. That's the truth. And if what it's doing is to make sure that Kenyans are not benefiting from the economy,
yes,
that is not what Kenyans deserve. and they don't need that. As we are campaigning and our platform on politics is very pure and simple. It's the economy, stupid. Who is taking illegal debts right now in the country? You saw the other day, the Controller of Budget said that there are almost 900 billion illegal debts taken. Our own summation, forensic auditors, him is promising more taxes to the people of Kenya. He's now even going to put VAT on sugar. He's adding even transport levy on transportation of sugar cane. Who is going to pay that cost ultimately? It's the consumer.
Okay.
It's going to be levied on the farmer. The company is going to levy it on the final price. It's the consumer that will bear the cost.
Okay.
Once we stop paying illegal debts, the appetite to increase taxes on the Kenyan people must also go down.
Okay.
Because we're not going to collect money from the Kenyan people to pay for that illegal debt. So as we promise people tax relief,
Okay.
and that tax relief will come in, we must reduce some of these taxes, bands of taxes. VAT on fuel, for example. Why should we charge VAT on fuel? And fuel is the driver of an economy. We'll reduce VAT on fuel from 16% to 5%. That is our commitment. And we'll sign it to the people of Kenya. And when the time comes, it's the people themselves who remit that VAT.
Okay.
They'll adjust their machines and put it at 5%. Don't wait for any government to tell you. So we have enough that we are going to do.
Okay. We've talked about joblessness here, and looking at the 2 years that the president has actually been in office, what would you make of the kind of measures that the government has put in place to handle some of these issues? And of course, while at that also, let's weigh in and bring in what is actually taking place within the Labour Ministry, of course, led by CS Alfred Mutua, with all those things. Do you think that would be the right approach for the government to handle these things?
You know, number one, the government can never be the number one employer or the primary employer for everybody. Because how many civil servants do we have? They are around 500,000 total. We have 50 million Kenyans. The private sector should be the main driver of job creation. Okay? As we believe that you're not going to create enough jobs as government to absorb everybody, but you can create an enabling environment that enables private sector growth, that people are able to innovate and they're able to access capital to finance their innovations, for them to economically grow, but also to create opportunities for others who want to.
For them, it's like we do not have those adequate chances in the country currently, and people must actually survive. And
but why don't we have those chances? What I'm telling you, why don't we have those chances here? What is hindering us? Look even at the products that go to the supermarket shelf today. You'll be shocked at the display of foreign goods. We've become a supermarket. SGR here now is just like a trolley for Chinese goods coming into Kenya. We are a market. Some of those items, we can produce them locally. Why are we not producing them? Number one challenge is the cost of production. If the cost of production is prohibitive, people will ship jobs abroad. They'll manufacture abroad and bring for you finished products. When you have a ready market here in Kenya, why not have it that we produce here locally? Okay. Look at tea, for example. We now don't process value add any of our tea. We sell the raw material, it goes to Dubai. That's why they do the value addition. Then it comes back here as tea packs, packet tea. Why couldn't we just be doing it here? Why? Because the cost of production in Kenya is too prohibitive. If it's not taxes, number two is energy, cost of power. Here, our cost of power is around 25 US cents. In Ethiopia, it's around 10, 11 US cents. So just on energy alone, somebody who is setting up a plant and machinery here in Kenya, he's already starting at double the price in Ethiopia. Why is our energy so prohibitive? Why is it so expensive? We have these so-called PPA agreements, power purchase agreements, that people are holding and they are the ones benefiting. We have to pay them even if they don't supply any power to the grid. But because they have a PPA, we are paying them. What is Kenya Power all about? Why should we have one Kenya Power doing a monopoly of distribution of power in this country? So Those are the things you need to do. Identify the barrier. What is stopping us from doing it? Once you remove those barriers, you are going to open up the sector, the private sector to growth. And those jobs that you're saying are not here, they will be here.
Okay.
Because Kenya alone, number one, is a ready market. We have enough infrastructure. We have a personnel, manpower, that is well educated. So what do we lack? We just lack government interventions to assist the private sector to grow. In Kenya, if you find a meeting of the manufacturers and government, it's like a war. They look at the manufacturer, the largest taxpayers outside government, as an enemy.
Okay.
Our administration will be talking to them as the golden goose that lays the golden eggs. We'll pamper them to open more plants and machinery here.
I get you.
To create jobs. That's the difference.
You're saying we're doing bad. The president is saying the economy is doing wonderfully. So to say, I've had that kind of a statement made back then.
The sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. If the economy is doing wonderfully, you'll feel it. I told you when we finished campus, on day one of admission, within our group, we had more than 5 jobs. In fact, 8 jobs on the table for 3 people. Today, how many graduates finished school?
Okay.
Somebody graduated almost 10 years ago. He's not able to get a job today. How many graduates have you met that are working in Mjengos?
So many.
How many are doing boda?
Quite a number.
Yeah, and that's not their skill. That's not their training. It simply means the economy is not creating jobs that are commensurate with their qualifications. But you have the skill set. That is the difference. Legacy politicians prefer them to do boda, to do mjengo. And even in mjengo, as I told you last time, even our masons are now at risk. Burundians, their countries facing similar deep economic problems, have flooded here. They are going to mjengo and asking for 300 Kenya shillings, when the Kenyan mason before was asking for 800. The Burundian is given the job, the Kenyan cannot get the job.
Okay.
As one young man put it, the funny thing in Kenya is that we are exporting our laborers to Saudi Arabia, while Burundians are exporting their laborers to Kenya.
Okay. So that is it. So while at it, we are here in this country. We are expecting the Finance Bill 2025 to be tabled anytime soon. You're saying there that it may have a potential of realizing the raising of taxes in this country, but notwithstanding, we are having here, I saw that the time the CS Treasury was asked about how we are going to actually make sure that we get the money to cater for the fiscal deficit that is normally there. But of course, Kenyans have also raised questions about the 3 billion that was donated. I don't know whether it was 3.5 billion that was donated by the American billionaire to the country. People are like, surely, is this really done in good faith? But while at it, remember, the country is grappling with a lot of issues here, especially in the health sector after the AIDS freeze from the United States of America. How do we wade in and make sure that we solve our issues here properly? As
you know, Kukinyi, you asked me one day on this show, and you said that Badi had said they will not increase taxes. It was in the dailies that they are not going to increase taxes in this finance bill. And I told you, write it down. Take it to a bank. I guaranteed you he was going to increase taxes. Why? Next year, in payment of debt, interest and principal, will be 2.2 trillion. The next financial year beginning 1st of July, this year. 2.2 trillion is the debt payments that are due. Interest and principals. This year, in fact, I was even before being very generous. I thought they were going to collect 2.3 trillion. The collection is going to be around 2.2 trillion. So without increasing taxes, it means if the debt to be paid at 2.2 trillion next financial year, and you maintain everything remaining constant, your revenue, tax revenue is going to be 2.2 trillion. So 100% of the money you're going to collect next year, financial year, will go to debt finance. So how will you do it without increasing taxes?
Okay.
He has to. But even in the attempts to increase taxes, I told you we've reached the Laffer curve. Last year, when the other year, even when they used the 2023 finance bill, They were hoping to raise, I don't know, some extraordinary amount, 3 point something trillion. It has only hit them at 2.2.
Okay.
With the housing levy, with all those many things that they keep increasing. They are not hitting, we are at the Laffer curve. The more you increase taxes, the more businesses are closing. There's no production. More businesses are closing, less consumption in the economy. People are going subsistence. A family that could afford a loaf of bread now has to go to the farm to look for nduma and raboni. Yeah. If they were buying sugar, now they have to take sugarless tea. What does that mean? The consumption in the economy reduces.
Yes.
So the consumable tax collection will go down. It's Laffer curve. That's your behavioral economics. People adjust their lifestyles based on what they have.
Okay.
So you have to increase taxes and you will still not achieve the target. So the elephant in the room is this debt. This debt,
So,
and I will keep hitting it on this show, the elephant in the room in this country is called debt. Is that debt legal? What are we paying for? Because if you are telling me that you are paying for debt for 2.2 trillion in 1 year, so you borrowed how much? Your debt book, you are told now our debt stock is 11 trillion. Did that 11 trillion come into this economy? Why can't we feel its impact? Because if the money came into the economy, its collection should be easier. You should be seeing our revenue collections shooting because the money will be circulating here. So even collecting it will become easier. But it's not. It never came here. As Safina Party, Jimmy Wanjigi, we are very clear. It's illegal debt, the bulk of it. We've done our forensic audit. And we will not pay it. Woe unto those who took the illegal debt and gave it.
So do you question this grant, the particular one that we just highlighted here?
No, I'm not going to discuss. I mean, I'm sure there are parameters that is going to use to distribute that money. That is Warren Buffett doing his CSR. So I don't know if he's giving it to the government of Kenya, he's going to use it, give it through non-state actors. I still don't know the particulars. All is there is just the announcement.
So far, what we've seen is that it's been given to the government of Kenya, and particularly maybe in the Ministry of Health.
No. When he says as a grant, normally grants, they may say that we're going to use it, so they'll get sub-grantees. So you'll find some NGOs that are working in the health sector. So they will be collaborating with the ministry, but the money maybe will be channeled through those non-state actors. I don't know the particulars of the grant. I mean that because he has said I'm donating, spending this much in Kenya, I'm giving it to the Kenya government. Even USAID, most of its programs that they were running, they were not running it directly with the Ministry of Health. They were running it through sub-grantees.
So what do you make of the Kenyans who are questioning the motive behind such kind of grants?
I mean, it is left to everybody to decide. Maybe they want to invest in the research, because I know for a fact most of these investments in these grants in the health sector is part to help them in research. And the research is to help them to develop advanced health interventions that they may need sometimes in the future. So yes, they'll give you the grant, but they're collecting from the end users, they are collecting specimens, they're testing certain things, which they use to develop advanced medicine or interventions in the health sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
The president is saying he's doing good, you're saying otherwise, and you've said here that of course the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. We are heading towards the elections. How do we then separate between lip service, mere talking, and actually the real issues here that are...
The jury is the people of Kenya. And I've always told these Kenyans that listen to us, these Kenyans I interact with, they are not stupid. Everybody can form their opinion, and they can tell what is truthful and what is lies. And it is very clear. Maybe for William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza, everything is very good. Because they don't face the challenges the Kenyan people are facing in their numbers. So when they hear some of these issues that we raise, they may just think these are just acerbic critics or political opponents. We are not. We're just speaking the truth. And the truth is, the Kenyan economy is not doing good. If it were, you'll be seeing sherehe here every weekend. Do you see sherehe anywhere with the Kenyan young people?
Not really.
Yeah. There's no money.
Okay. So you're not, because he says it, you indeed have an agenda that you'll sell to the people. Well, let's wait and see what happens before then. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop for now. Weigh in and tell us what you actually think. Is the economy doing wonderfully, as the president puts it? Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.